The WWE has made a huge mistake as fans are calling this the biggest dud of the Paul Levesque era so far, and heading into one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. This has serious implications. We're going to break it all down for you guys coming up on this episode of Wrestle Digest. But before we get into it, we got to say we're on the road for 3,000 subscribers here before next week's Royal Rumble. So if you're not subscribed, you want to stay up on the latest wrestling content, make sure down below and hit that subscribe button. But Darius, we gotta jump straight into this because on paper, this Saturday night's main event card last night looks stacked. I mean, we had Shawn Michaels coming out again for the first time in a long time on the main card, and we had Jimmy Uso versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. We had Nia Jax versus Rhea for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, and we had Sheamus versus Braun Breaker for the IC title. We had 3 title matches last night, and then we had a banger, at least we thought, in Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman as well. This looked like one of the best cards we've seen for a non-PLE probably ever. I mean, like, it looked fantastic. I was so excited going into this last night, but there was a common theme throughout the night here. Darius says Rhea Ripley retained against Nia Jax. I didn't have a problem with that. I don't want to see Nia Jax with title around her waist again, but that's a topic for a whole another video. But then we went on to Braun Breaker defeating Sheamus to retain his Intercontinental Championship. Then we kept going through the night. Gunther defeating Jey Uso, yeet, and retaining his World Heavyweight Championship. But there was some cool moments as well, Darius. I mean, we seen Shawn Michaels tune up the band one more time, seeing a sweet chin music on Kevin Owens. And we did get to see Jacob Fatu beat the daylights out of Braun Strowman in a crazy squash that nobody's seen happening. I mean, this guy was backing it up like a Brinks truck onto Braun Strowman's face in the corner last night. It was crazy. He just demolished this guy, hit a crazy splash at the end. But Darius, I mean, when you kind of look back on it now, a day removed from this event, it was kind of shocking, the events that unfolded. We didn't see one title change. We seen a DQ finish in that Braun Strowman versus Fatu match. And maybe the best thing about it was seeing a Shawn Michaels sweet chin music. And Sheamus having a chance at going Grand Slam champion and not converting doesn't sit right with me.
Well, first things first, I mean, like in the Paul Levesque era so far, I'm, right on the train with everyone else along for this ride. I'm in a front row seat. I'm loving every single thing about it. But I think that this could have been the first dud, really, of this entire era. They've been putting out some great, not only content, but, matches, promos, all of that. And this one just didn't sit right, or didn't land well for me, at least, right? Obviously, when you look at the card here, you have potential for fireworks. It's a stacked card, to a degree, but I don't know if it delivered to what we all thought it should. And, if they're going to put on an event like this every, once a month, every, Saturday, whatever Saturday it falls on, it's got to be better than this one, I think, especially with the storylines heading into the Royal Rumble and stuff that they could have set up in this show. Obviously, I think that, if you're going to have an event like this once a month, a title has to change hands, right? You can't have all 3 matches where there's a title on the line, everyone retained, because it's just Monday Night Raw at that point, but on Saturday, right? Like, you're not seeing any titles change hands. There's no real reason to watch in that regard. And really, for the first time for me too, like, in a, special event, I'll call it, I guess. It's not Monday Night Raw. It's not Friday Night Smackdown. It's not quite a PLE. But for the first time, some of the best moments in this weren't really the matches themselves. And, through the Paul Levesque era, the Triple H era, whatever you want to call it, it has really been that at the PLEs. The matches have been great. The storylines, the tension, the heightening of the storylines, everything like that. It's been fantastic. This didn't really do it for me. Rhea Ripley retaining makes sense to me. I feel like you probably should have put the title, the IC title, on Sheamus. This was probably the time to do it. Like you said, make him a Grand Slam champion. Then you can have a promo, or a program, excuse me, with them two going at it. I feel like a lot of people would want to see that. I feel like it could be entertaining, right? And obviously the IC title has more prestige now. And again, some of the other matches were all right. The contract signing, there was a moment there with Shawn Michaels, like we mentioned, that was pretty cool, right? With the sweet chin music, that was nice. Some nostalgia there. Obviously, Jacob Fatu, they're making him into a superstar with what happened last night as well. Those are all good moments, but the matches and everything that, the results, I don't think really delivered last night. And that's something that they're going to have to consider if they continue to do this on a regular basis, which it looks like they're going to. This is, a new event. But it's fun, the retro vibe, all of that. There's still a lot of fun moments along the way, like we mentioned, but I don't know if a lot of this landed, and it just kind of felt filler to a degree. And I don't know if it can, right? Raw and SmackDown can feel that way. I don't know if an event like this should feel that way.
Yeah, I think with the talent and everything they had on the card last night, I think SmackDown outperformed it the night before just with the results. I think the wrestling was fantastic last night. We got a lot of great matches. It was just the results that have a lot of fans upset, and at a degree where they're hyping up Saturday night's main event. It's the second one back since its return, and they do this. They go out, no title change, have 3 matches on the card, and no title changes hands right before one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year. I think this was a big flop on WWE's side. Something needed to happen here. Whether they took one of the singles matches out for the tag team championships and it changed hands in that way, something needed to happen last night to where, we could have sat here, predicted the outcome of this last night. I mean, we probably couldn't predicted Fatu being a disqualification. I was very excited when I seen that being hyped up on Friday Night SmackDown. I was like, this is going to be one of the best matches of the year, and they ended in disqualification. I get it builds up the storyline between Strowman and Fatu. I completely understand that to a degree, but that's something you could have done on a Monday Night Raw or a Friday Night SmackDown, not on one of these events that you were trying to build up and get people excited for, because the first one got a lot of people excited. That's why a lot of people went to this one last night in the arena. Tune into this on NBC. And it really did flop. A lot of fans are upset about it. And Darius, kind of like you said, we're going into WrestleMania here. Probably one of the biggest events of the year right now. What we have confirmed is obviously the men's Royal Rumble match, the women's Royal Rumble match. We have Cody versus KO in a ladder match, which I think is going to be amazing because Kevin Owens, when you give this guy a ladder, he finds the craziest thing in the arena to jump off of. So I think this match is going to be amazing. And obviously we have DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns in a 2 out of 3 falls match. But I think this is going to be interesting because one thing that I just kind of want to get off my chest, I think the tag team division is at an all-time low in WWE right now. Nobody cares about it. I think they need some tag teams, and I think the Motor City Machine Guns are the guys to kind of take the belts off of DIY, get them back, and just be like, hey, we need to revamp this tag team division. And, I mean, Darius, heading into this now, next Saturday, coming off of a pretty lackluster Saturday night's main event, what do you think is going to happen in the coming weeks to kind of get people back on board for the Royal Rumble?
Well, just to build off what you said about the tag team division to start, for those of you just tuning into the channel, maybe you're new to the channel, like I'm a big 2006 to 2010, 11-ish TNA guy. Like I loved it around that era. There was a lot of good talent there. So the Motor City Machine Guns, them coming in, I think there's a real opportunity here for not only WWE fans to see them, but for them to cultivate something here with the tag team division and kind of lead the way and kind of bring in these new tag teams and make them look really good because these guys are experienced and they're really good at what they do. So I think there's a good, opportunity here to kind of, like you said, nobody really cares about the tag team division right now. And there's times, throughout history where it's the hottest thing going. So I feel like there's potential to bring it back there. I'm excited for this match specifically. I think it's just going to be a good match, a good spectacle. The other thing with the card too, it's simple. And I like that that's kind of what they're doing with the new Triple H era. Again, whatever we're calling it at this point. The cards are simple, but it's quality, right? Instead of having 6 matches on Royal Rumble night like they used to have, or 7 matches, whatever it be, there's only 4 or 5 matches now, but everything's quality, everything's done well. So I'm really looking forward to the Royal Rumble this year. Obviously, the women's Royal Rumble, it's always a good time, but this year there could be TNA stars in there, right? So you got to look out for that. Who's returning? Who's going to win the men's Royal Rumble? There's so many storylines. Depending who wins is going to set up the Elimination Chamber perfectly, right? So this has a direct correlation to the Elimination Chamber. We know whoever does not win, they're going to be fighting in the Elimination Chamber, essentially the top guys. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch there. Women's Royal Rumble should be the exact same thing, really. And then again, like you said, the ladder match, it's going to be a good match. It should be. They actually cultivated some real heat here with this storyline with Kevin Owens. They've done a good job, like something that, I'm excited to watch. Usually, you come into a Royal Rumble pay-per-view and you're like, I don't think the title's going to change hands, right? And it might be an okay match like we've seen the last couple of years. But this one I'm actually invested in because they built a storyline up here and I'm actually into it. What's Kevin Owens going to do? He's parading around with the Ingle belt as well. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do. But Casey, how are you feeling about the matches, heading into the Royal Rumble? This is one of the craziest, I think, Royal Rumble events that we've maybe ever seen, or it's been a while at least. But it leads directly into Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania, obviously. But the storylines, whatever happens here next week, really determines what we're going to see at the Elimination Chamber and the storylines that are going to build off of that.
Yeah, I mean, we're not saying that the results of Saturday Night Main Event are going to make people tune out of the Royal Rumble. I mean, everybody watches the Royal Rumble. People who don't watch wrestling for like an entire year since WrestleMania come back and watch the Royal Rumble because it's just a fun event. I mean, we see people coming back this year. We got TNA people coming in potentially, and we already have Charlotte Flair confirmed coming back for the Women's Royal Rumble. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of things happening. A lot of people are thinking maybe AJ Lee is going to come back at the Royal Rumble. There's going to be a lot of fun things happening at this Royal Rumble. And I kind of I love exactly what you said at this Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes match. Because when this first started happening, I was like, oh my God, like, we can't do this. Like, we can't do this again. But they built up this story to where I care about this match now. And I'm excited for the result. I think this is going to be a great match. I think every Cody Rhodes PLE match since he's come back has been a banger. My favorite match since the Cody has come back has been the I Quit match in Scotland. Maybe it's because I'm there, maybe because I was biased, but it was an amazing match. But now we have the tag team division. They're trying to get people to care about it more by putting it on this big event and giving it a bigger platform. And like you said, I mean, when the Hardys were going, when Miz and Morrison were going, when Kane and Daniel Bryan were going, or it was Big Show and Daniel Bryan actually, when they were going, there were so many great tag teams in this tag team division, and like you said, at times it overshadowed who the WWE champion was, so we can get back to those days. We just need to build these tag teams, and putting it on this platform is definitely the way to start going about it. But this is going to be such a fun event. We're all excited about it. Like you said, it's going to tie right into the Elimination Chamber, and it's definitely going to be fun to see what unfolds over these next two Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown this week, to see what we're going to see going into the Royal Rumble. I can't wait for it. I think the Royal Rumble is definitely one of the better events of the year, and we're going to see some crazy comebacks. We're going to see some crazy debuts. We want to hear your guys' thoughts on Saturday night's main event down below in the comment section. Were you as disappointed as us? Let us know down below. What do you think about Royal Rumble? What are some matches you got in your head that you'd like to see on this card? Let us know down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we're going to be here almost every day bringing you the latest wrestling news. You're not going to want to miss out on everything that's going around, so hit that subscribe button. And as always, I've been your host, KC, alongside my co-host, Darius. We'll catch you in the next one.